We are at Nashville today, and this is an interesting view. We are starting from the front. So I decided, you know what, let's try qualifying. Maybe we'll get a decent starting spot because this track, the where you start is essential because to be honest, it is kind of hard to pass here at Nashville. So I did qualifying and somehow I got the pole position. So during the race, I was absolutely panicking here right before the start because I'm controlling the start. I'm in the front, and this is not a place that I have really been before. So this was something new, something interesting, but also something exciting. So cool to finally get my first pole and finally start from the front here. We're doing 40 laps today, ARCA Menards series. Coming to the restart zone. Throttle down. And we are off. Got a car on my outside, so he was aggressive going into turn one there and ended up getting around me. I going into turn one here on the first lap, I'm always a little loose, so I really didn't want to be that guy to start in first place and spin out. So I took the first turn really easy, ended up just letting the 10 car around, and now we're in second place. The 10 car is starting to gap us just a little bit. Now, instead of just racing my own race off the bat here, I wanted to see if I could catch the 10 car and potentially make the pass back for the lead. Now, that's not the smartest idea because the your tires wear down quick, and the second half of the race is really just battling how tight your car is and making sure you hit your marks when you go into the corners. So any chance you get at the start of the race to conserve your tires and not be too hard on your car is definitely ideal, and this would be a perfect case for me to be doing that. We're coming to lap 4 now. We got around zero point 0.7 seconds to first place and then around half a second to second place, so things are starting to string out a little bit. Now is the perfect time to just not push too hard and not try and wear my car down. But still, I'm trying fairly hard to catch up to the 10, although it's not working too great for me. The 10 is increasing his gap by quite a bit. Try and change up my line here and hug the inside. It looks like that did cut down the gap a little bit to the 10 cars, so staying on the inside is definitely the way to go here, it looks like. Drove in a little deep, and that's exactly what you want to try and avoid doing because that's where your tires start heating up, and that's where you start to get problems in the second half of the race. This is all fun and games right now because we're cutting down the gap to the leader, so that's great, but we're not even 10 laps into a 40 lap race, and it's all about the endurance, the long game. You can't win the race in the first 10 laps, but you can definitely lose it. So I saw that I was starting to gain on the 10 car here, and that just made me more and more aggressive. We're now down to half a second, and he made a bit of a mistake right there, so it looked like he got a little bit loose, and the car in front of us is definitely getting larger and larger, so we're making up time. I hug the inside since the inside is definitely the faster line, and the 10 car hit the outside wall there, so we're really starting to get to the back bumper now. A little bit of a gap, but we're making up ground. So this track is tricky. It's kind of like Pocono, where if there are two cars side by side in front of you, then that is perfect. That is exactly what you want to see. And the 10 car hit the outside wall again, so now we are right on the back bumper. But as I was saying, when two cars are side by side in front of you, that's exactly what you want to see, because that slows them down significantly and you can make up a lot of time. So you really have to time your passes on this track in order to not allow that car behind you to really catch up and then cause yourself more issues down the line. Coming down to lap 11 now, so we're just over a quarter of the way through the race. So the 10 car is fast, just making a lot of mistakes, which is keeping me on his back bumper. The problem is now third place has caught up quite a bit as well. They were just over half a second behind us, and now they are less than a quarter of a second behind us. I overdrive it a bit, and now the third place car is on my inside, and I just end up letting them by because I do not want to allow fourth place to catch up to us even more. They're about a second behind us, and I would like to keep it that way, so it's a strategy move. I would have liked to have battled a little bit more for second place, but it's better to stay in third than potentially move all the way back to fourth or fifth, because I decided to battle and I let those guys catch up a bunch. So here's another case where I could be backing off just a little bit, racing my own race, because there's not really a lot happening behind me, and in front of me these guys are going to be battling back and forth and being really aggressive. Potentially a mistake coming from them. So I could be easy on my car right now, but I'm trying to really push the issue and stay right up with them. Again, your tires wear down quick on this track, so especially with the ARCA Menards series where we don't have cautions, so you don't really need to pit. Conserving your tires can really pay dividends. These guys are racing side by side now, so that allows me to catch up just a little bit. It almost looked like the 8 car was about to take out the 10 car. That would have been interesting, but the 8 car backs off a little bit, and now we're back single file. So the cars behind me are starting to catch up a little bit. It was about a second gap to fourth place. Now it's less than half a second. So they are starting to catch up. And the 8 car here is starting to get a little impatient and really wants to make the pass on the 10 car. It's all over the track. I will say it is fun to be up front though. It is nice to be battling up here for a top 5, top 3. Oh man, okay, the 8 car really pushed the issue right there. Both cars went into the wall, and that allows me to make up a lot of time. And that looked like the 8 car may have been going for the takeout there. Things are getting really sketchy. I'm right on the 8 car's bumper once again. And now the fourth place car is right behind us as well. Less than a quarter of a second behind. So us top 5 here are all within just about a second of each other. It's really close racing, a lot of fun. Doing my best to protect the inside line, forcing anyone trying to make a pass to go on the outside, but my car is starting to get really tight now, coming just over halfway through the race. I will say this track is a ton of fun. Really tricky again to make any passes, but it is a really fun track to race, and I'll be excited when the C Fixed series comes here. And I wanted to start trying to do the NASCAR iRacing series, so once they come here for a little bit longer race, that will be interesting. So the fourth place car ends up getting around me. They had a big run. I made a little bit of a mistake, and now fifth place gets around me, and now I'm in fifth. So lost 2 spots there just because I was over driving a little bit. So silly mistake. But we have 2 seconds until 6th place, so a little bit of a gap here. And things are really starting to string out up front. The leader's got a 1.5 second gap, so really making up a lot of time on us. Looks like he figured out the mistakes he was making in the first part of the race, and now just smooth sailing. So I go on the inside of the 15 here, potentially trying to make the pass. It's just so hard on the inside to carry speed. On the outside, you can carry speed out of the corners, so I was thinking about making the pass, but on the second half of the front straightaway there, the 15 just really carried the momentum and gapped me by just a little bit. But coming into the corner, the inside line, definitely you can make up a lot of time. Pay attention to the scoring in the lower right-hand corner also. Look at the gap from me to 6th place. And now we're side by side, so this is the worst case. This is where you lose a ton of time. And I end up trying to go for the pass here, but I get really tight trying to exit the corner. So we're side by side going on the front straight here. And yeah, my car is super tight, just sliding all the way up the track, trying not to crash into the 15 car, and he stayed on the outside. He got a little bit of a run, and any gap that we had to now 6th and both 7th place it's effectively gone. Now they're about a half a second behind us, so that's what side-by-side racing does to you here in Nashville in these cars. You really have to time your passes, because now it's like super speedway racing. They're both on my back bumper, and now the 15 car has a run, and we're all bunched up here. You can see in the rear view mirror those cars. And now I'm really fighting my car because I was being so aggressive, so the car's super tight.
So sorry, buddy.
Now the 6th place car gets around me, so I'm back to 6th. And 7th place is right on my inside and ends up making the pass as well. So I'm kind of dropping like a rock here. I'm just losing a ton of time. And there's a crash, so that was the 2nd and 3rd place cars. Those guys were being super aggressive, it looks like, and ended up catching up to them. So make 2 passes there. We are up to 5th place. And the 15 car is way up the track. Third and 4th place get around the 15. I have a run on him, and I get on his inside. But once again, we're side by side. And I can't fully make the pass here, so at this point we have 9 laps to go. I am in 5th place. I lost 4 positions since the start of the race, but I'm happy with this. A top 5 is beautiful. That's a great result. The thing is, the car behind me is 1.6 seconds behind, so I just need to maintain that gap for these final few laps. At this point, I didn't care what was happening in front of me, and just making sure that car behind me is not able to make the move around. At this point, I'm just battling the car way too much to effectively make a pass. Sixth place is getting some time on me, making up some time, but at this rate it's around 0.1 seconds per lap, so they're not making up enough time to actually get around me here. So yeah, still just maintaining the gap. We got around 1.2 seconds to the car in front. About 5 laps to go. And this was a dumb mistake. I drove in way too deep into that corner, so that's the type of thing where the car behind me is actually going to potentially catch up. Now they're less than a second behind. Need to just race smart here for this last little bit. I was hoping third and fourth place would continue battling like this, potentially take each other out, and make 2 more easy passes. So now I'm just doing everything I can to protect the inside line. The outside, it's so hard to pass on. Just protect the inside. I've been maintaining a gap of around 0.8 to 0.9 seconds the past few laps, so the car behind isn't making up much time on me at all. So we got 2 laps to go here. And that car on the inside looks familiar. The name looks familiar on the scoring too. That's the 10 car. Something happened to the leader. So another mistake now put me up to 4th place. We're on the last lap here, so I just need to bring it home. No mistake here. We have a good gap to the car behind us. And coming to the finish, I'd say that's not a bad race. Started first, ended 4th. Got passed by a few people, but there were 3 cars that made mistakes, ended up crashing, and I was a little aggressive off the start. I could have been easier on my tires, but I rode my race, kept it mistake free, and came home 4th. So I'm happy with that result. That was a good result. Now I would like to see what happens to the 10 car. So if we go to lap 39 and then we look for the 10 car, let's see right here. See, let's go to the TV view, and he's beat up there. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's try and find where that tire damage. Oh, is it right there? No. Oh. Okay. So right now he's in 1st place. Coming into turns 3 and 4. Oh, he just drove in way too deep. Hit the outside wall, and that ruined his race. That's so frustrating too. Lap 39 of 40, so maybe a lesson learned there. Don't overdrive, especially when you're that far in the lead. That sucks, but again, my race overall not bad. If we go to results here, 4th of 19. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Next up will be Auto Club in the C Class Fixed series. See you then.